friends, this is Hedda. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another reading journal update. This video is going to be all about the books I read in April and the spreads I made in my reading journal for these books. I am still in a black paper section in my Neapolitan notebook. This one is from Archer and Olive. They don't sell these types of notebooks currently, but they did in the past and they have kind of brought them back now and then. So hopefully they'll make more because I absolutely love them. I wanted to create a fairly simple cover page for April because I am very behind on my reading journal, and so I wanted to be able to make this setup as easy for myself as possible so that I don't get overwhelmed with all the spreads that I need to make, because of course I still have to do May and then suddenly I have to do June, and I don't want this journal to feel like work, you know? This is just a fun hobby that I have, and it's supposed to be laid back. And so I'm trying to keep it that way and not stress too much about it, you know? Now, what better way to fill a spread than using huge stickers, right? So I received these in a pen pal letter, actually. These stickers that you see me here, well, it's a pet tape, actually. So it's transparent and it's made from pet like plastic instead of paper, and because the background is black, I decided to stick them onto white paper first and then glue them onto the page, because that way the colors wouldn't seem washed out or, you know, less visible, because I wanted the colors to be very vibrant still, especially with these. They are Mucha, I still don't know how to pronounce his name, Alphonse Mucha. Musha. Anyway, inspired. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably will have seen my September bullet journal setup from last year, where I did a whole theme inspired by him, because he is a very influential artist. I really love all of his work. So yeah, it was kind of an homage to him. And so this didn't seem so far-fetched for me to do, actually. And I also went for a little bit of a stained glass situation with the huge rectangular sticker. Also, I received that in a pen pal letter, so I don't know where any of it is from, but I'm sure it will be easy enough to find online if you just Google Alphonse Mucha inspired pet tape or something like that. I don't know. I am rambling just a little bit while I'm cutting out all of these pieces. So I just wanted to do a big cover page on the one side, and then on the other side I have frames to write down the books that I read in April. Now, I only read 2 books in April, so I didn't need that much space. At first, I thought I would do like a list situation with like a larger frame. I got these notepad or like note papers. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk today. And I was testing out which one of them I could use, but in the end I went with these frames that I've used countless times before. They're just very simple square frames, and they have this like brown edge around them, and so they're very soft and easy to match with a lot of different colors and a lot of different themes. So I really like using them. I used my Tombow Mono glue tape to glue everything down. I put the stickers on very like thick like drawing paper, marker paper, which was probably unnecessary. It could have just been regular printer paper, but I was just using what I had nearby my desk at the time, and yeah, so they're quite thick, and they didn't need to be that thick, but oh well. We live and we learn, right? I also put down the little frame thingies that I don't know if it really needed it, but there we are, and it does kind of complete the look, so it's fine. I do love the gold details on everything here. I think that's really, really pretty. And then I was trying to figure out the color for my title, because I thought it would look nice with also the title being on a separate piece of paper cut out, so that it would have that white edge, since everything else on the page has that white edge. But I like tried with different colors that fit with the stained glass sticker, and it didn't look right. So in the end I went for gold. So this is an Ohuhu dot marker, or it's like it's from their like journaling pen set. So this one isn't a brush pen. It has a very like hard nib because it is this metallic, I think it's probably an acrylic marker. And so because of that, I did a little bit of a like faux calligraphy where you just do the hand lettering as normal, but of course because it isn't a brush, you don't get that thin upstroke, thick downstrokes. So you have to kind of go over everything afterwards to imitate the look of a brush pen. So that's what I did here. So that was pretty much it for the left side of the spread, and then on the right side I just used some of the corners and glued those on top of the frames just to add a little bit more color, I guess. And it also has these gold details that they don't show up very well on camera, but they are really pretty in real life. And I wanted to have this girl kind of sitting next to one of the frames or on top. I wasn't quite sure how to do that in a good way, but I think that where I placed her turned out quite nice. And to add something a little bit extra, I didn't want to do a big collage or anything because I didn't want that kind of vintage look with the ripped out pages from books and stuff like that I normally do. So instead I got out some gold ink and I just used a stamp just to add something a little bit extra. And then I used the same gold pen and I just wrote directly onto the black paper. I just wrote books I read this month, and this pen works well on the black paper because it is an acrylic marker, so everything shows up really nicely. I also decided to go over some of the gold stamps with the same marker because the gold ink pad, it doesn't show up as well. Like, it's visible, but it could be more visible. So you can see I added a little bit of gold here and there and some sparkles, of course, and that was it. So super simple, but still impactful, I think, because it is on a black background. So it's a different look. Now this is where I realized that I had kind of made a mistake because when I flipped to the next page, it was a half black, half white page, and I was a little bit confused because I was pretty sure I had another black page after this. It turns out that I accidentally flipped to the wrong page when I was gonna do my cover page, and so I have a blank page before the April cover page. At first I was like, oh, do I just skip it and just call it good, just pretend it didn't happen? But it would annoy me to have this blank page right in the middle here, so I decided to just put one of the book spreads on this page. So one spread before the April spread, but it's okay. It's not that deep, you know? I'm the only one who sees this anyway. Like, I'm not in the habit of showing my reading journal to people in real life, you know? So the only people seeing this is me, and any photos that I post online, nobody's gonna see which order they are in, so it just really doesn't matter. So yeah, let's talk about the book that I read. The first book I read in April is called War. It's by Bob Woodward. I actually started this book several months ago, but it took me a while to get through because this is, surprise, surprise, a non-fiction book. And I read mostly fiction. I'd say 99% of what I read is fiction. And this is, I guess, my one exception this year. And yeah, this is a super interesting book. I mean, I have a background in political science, and so books like this are the type of nonfiction books that I really enjoy. It is politics, history, well, like contemporary history. Does that even make sense? Because it's happening right now. It's a very new book. It's from last year, 2024. It's mostly about the war in Ukraine, and it focuses a lot on like the world leaders, well, like the American presidents, the Russian president, the Ukrainian president, like all of these important players in the current landscape. It is super interesting, and it's mostly just a retelling or like a presentation, I guess, of conversations between these leaders and kind of contextualizing these conversations. And so I think it's super interesting. It feels like peeking behind the curtain, kind of, because it's not what is being presented in the media necessarily. It has taken me a long time to read because reading books like this kind of makes me lose faith in humanity. To be completely honest with you, this was my opinion or like my feeling while I was studying political science as well, that there's just so many awful people out there and so many awful things happening that it just makes me really sad. And so while this book is super interesting, it is not something that I like to read often just because it makes me in a really bad mood. So I'd say reading is mostly escapism for me, and this is definitely not escapism. But super interesting book. My brother tipped me about it, and I got to borrow it from him, which was nice, and very glad I read it. I would recommend it, especially if you're interested in politics and history, because this is a really good one. It is written mostly from the American perspective. It is written by a American journalist. So yeah, there is that to take into consideration, of course. But super interesting. I really enjoyed it, even though it did take me a long time to read. For decoration, I decided to go with mostly red because the cover, like the book cover, is very red. But I don't actually have that much red stationery. And so I had to get out some of my own stickers that are red. These were from like my String of Fate collection from, when was that? Like 2022, 2023? It's been a long time. And I also used the Queen of Hearts sticker from Sibylle Maynet because I've just been sitting on that for a while and I wasn't sure when to use it, but this felt like a good time. And I really like it. I was struggling a little bit of which way to place it because I don't know which side is upright and which one is upside down. But anyway, it's really pretty and it has lots of glitter, and yeah, so I really like that. I think that it's funny making a very like flowy hand lettering title that just says war, because that's such a harsh word, you know? But yeah, I think that the spread turned out quite nice with a little bit of white and a little bit of red. It really matches the book cover, which I've been trying to do a little bit more this year. I don't match the theme of the book with my decoration, but it is nice to match the book cover somewhat, at least. I didn't add a quote at the bottom of the left side of the spread like I normally do. I just placed a sticker there. I just didn't have it in me to find a quote from this book that I felt like needed to be written prettily on the spread. Does that make sense? I used a few very large stickers on the spread, but the rest of the decoration is actually very simple. Just a little bit of ripped book paper, a little bit of washi tape, and because the paper is black, of course, I'm using my white gel pen to write with. I was getting a little bit annoyed with the white gel pens at this point. I've had a lot of black pages recently, and some of my gel pens just stopped working suddenly, so I had to like switch between different ones. Luckily I have a lot of the same gel pens. The one I'm using here is the Jelly Roll in the 08. It's very comfortable to write with. I do like the 10 better just because I feel like the ink flows a little bit better from those, but the 08 is definitely like a nicer pen. Like my writing looks nicer because my handwriting is pretty small, so it looks better with a thinner pen. Anyway, that is it for that spread. So we can move on to the second book I read in April, which is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. And this is the first in a series. It is a fantasy. Well, I'd say it's romantasy more than anything. One of my friends who is really into reading, she has been on me for, I don't know, the last year, that I should be reading this series, and I thought I would give it a go. I have mixed feelings about it because on the one hand, I mean, it was really enjoyable. It is my kind of book. I don't know if the story is super original. It felt a little bit predictable, like I was able to kind of predict the twists, which is not something that I do very often. I'm a very dumb reader. Like, I just take everything at face value. I don't have a bunch of theories or anything, but with this book, I could definitely see where it was going from very early on, but I'm not sure it's going to be that same way for the rest of the series. So I have already bought the next books, and I think the last book comes out later this year, so that is a good thing for me. I won't have to like wait a long time for the next, or like the final book. I haven't read anything else by this author, so this is a new experience for me, but I am quite excited to have another fantasy series to kind of just lose myself in, because I really enjoy that, and so I think this is a good thing. I will definitely have something to read every time I go to the beach this summer. To decorate the spread, I went for a little bit of a different layout than I have been doing lately. So instead of doing the panel on the side with the information, I just skipped that altogether. And then the decoration I didn't put that much decoration, but what I did put down was very large. So again, I used 2 stickers from Sibylline Maynet. It was unintentional that I used stickers from her on both of my book spreads this month, and I didn't actually realize what I'd done until I was looking through it after. I was like, this is all the same style, but it's nice. I like it. So with both of these stickers, they are very different in terms of theme, but they use the same colors. She really likes to use this turquoise color, and so I decided to lean into that, and it has like some orange or like reddish details. So I got to use some of my own stickers from the Celestial collection that I released a couple of years ago, and I made use of the black on one side and the white on the other by splitting up the title, so that I used orange on the black page and then turquoise on the white page, just because I think that this is an interesting look. And when you have a spread like this with 2 different colors, you have to just play with it, because it's gonna look a little bit strange either way. Or like, it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna look different no matter what you do, really. So I tried to just play around with it a little bit, and I think that it worked out quite well. I also kind of enjoyed stepping outside of the structure that I've made for myself in my reading journal lately, and just doing something different. I mean, it's not that different. It still has the book cover and it still has a title and everything, but it's just a little bit different. And I think that it's good to change things up now and then, especially when you're getting used to things and things just kind of go on autopilot. It's probably a good thing to change it up, switch it up, and see what happens, because that's what creativity is all about. Oh, and before I'm done with the spread, just to let you know, this book is quite spicy. Well, I don't think it's not super spicy, but I think the series in general is quite spicy. So not a children's book. Definitely. I guess technically it's young adults, because the main character is, I don't know, 18, 19. There is something about her turning 19 that's significant to the story. So young adults, but spicy. So yeah, that is it for the books I read in April. Only 2 books this time, which was the same as March actually. So maybe this is a new normal for me, or at least a current habit. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed both books a lot. So I would consider it a good reading month because of that. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you've read either of these books. I mean, they are very different. And now let's do a little flip through to take another look at the spreads that I made in my reading journal. If you watched this video all the way to the end, be sure to put a let's do the drop of blood emoji. to let me know that you watched the video all the way to the end. I think it's difficult to come up with new emojis every time, so a very random one this time. As always, if you have any book recommendations, drop them in the comments. I would love to add them to my list. I do have a long list of books in my reading journal that have been recommended to me or that I would like to read, a so-called TBR, to be read list. So yeah, I can just add more to it. Never get tired of adding books to my list, never get tired of reading. And that's it for now, I suppose. You can check out the description box for like links, discount codes, all of that good stuff. And yeah, I hope that you're all having a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!